Hey guys, this is my tutorial on how I make custom pop vinyl boxes. All the files I'll be using today are available for download on my website. I'll put a link in the description. I'll run through what files I've got in there. So all of these will be included in the download. So in here we've got these anime logos. I do not own any of these images. These are ones that I just found on Google, so please use these at your own discretion. These are just the ones that I found to be good quality with a transparent background that is quite good for the front center of your boxes. Um, I will also have in here backgrounds. I did make these ones, however, I made them to match the official Funko boxes as closely as possible. There's only 3 in there because they did take me a bit longer to make, especially the one piece one. I had to draw the map, and again, I tried to make it match the official box as closely as possible, but I'm sure if you had, your custom and an official side by side on the shelf, they'd probably be a little bit different. You also have in here the files for the box. So with the box, I did find it easier to have each side in a separate Photoshop document. Each document does have quite a few layers in it, and when you have all those layers open on a computer, it can make it start to perform pretty slowly, which is quite frustrating. I did also include in here the fonts for you guys. These are the fonts that, I don't know if these are the ones that are on the official Funko box, but I found them to match quite closely. So these are available for you guys if you don't already have them on your computer. And I also included these pop vinyl logos. I don't know if you need these or not, but these are all some transparent PNGs for the different types of pop vinyl lines you might be making. This one here in particular is a Photoshop document, so you can edit this text to say anything you like to suit your box. So yes, I'll continue on now. We can start making this Hagoromo box, and I'll show you how to use these files. I do also have this a text guide here that's just got some of the measurements that I like to use for things like the outer glow and stroke around the pop vinyl art. I do also have a lot of pop vinyl art available on my website for free downloads. A lot of anime pop vinyls that I have drawn. You can help yourself to these. One thing I would recommend checking, I have noticed with quite a few pieces of art that have transparent backgrounds, sometimes there's a little speck off the edge of your picture or somewhere that you don't see it normally, but what I like to do is I just double click on the layer over here and I add a stroke to the edge, a thick dark colored stroke, because when there's a transparent background you can see, like down here I can see there's a little imperfection I've missed there, and up here. So I'll turn that stroke on. I will hold down Control and click my layer there, which selects the outside of my artwork, and then I just hold down Control Shift and I, which inverses the selection that I have on there, and then I just hit delete. If you watch closely down here and here, you'll see that these messy lines that I didn't want are gone. I'll just hit it again to get rid of that one, and now Control D to deselect that and throw that layer style in the bin. And now we know that we have a good clean transparent artwork with a crisp edge that will go nicely onto our box. So let's start editing that box. I will open up the files here. I'm confident to open all 6 of these at once because I know I have a good performance computer, but if you have a older computer, a slower computer, or a laptop or something, maybe just open one file at a time. So we will do the side of the box first. I will drag my Hagoromo file from this file up here. Make sure the move tool is selected. Just click and drag and then let go over here on the window side. So I'll just hide that layer for a second. You can click the little eyeball on the edge of the layer here to hide and show the layer. So I'll hide it for now, and I'll just talk to you about the other layers that I have here right now. This layer has Guy Sensei on it. This black square on the edge is a layer mask, so this is to stop the edge of him appearing. If I click on him here, I can actually move him around, and as soon as he goes out of the edge of this white rectangle, he's cropped off, which is very, very useful. So if you don't understand how layers and layer masks work, I highly recommend learning, because it's an integral part of making these custom boxes in Photoshop at least. Next we have the SE layer here. So in here we have the SE. You can change this to be whatever you like. Just hit the T for the text tool, and you can change those letters to say whatever you like. And you can change the color up here to any color you like. That's the beauty of custom boxes. It's everything is custom. I have the shape here. If you click on your shape tool, you can also change the color of your circle to be anything you like. I'm just going to leave it as default, just the plain black right now. But you can move that around. You can do whatever you like with it. That's that layer. These subtext layers. So normally the pop just has the title there, which is my main text. As you can see, I have that there. A lot of pops have this little subtext. So this is one that has 2 lines, as here we've got 8 gates, but some pops you might need 3, so I did include a layer for there with 3 lines for you. Just looks like that. Although with my Hagoromo box, I think I don't need either of those, so I'm going to turn those both off. Our main text layer can be adjusted to sit wherever you need, depending on how long the word is. Here we have the window, which is just a rectangle with a stroke drawn around the edge. So this you can ignore, because basically when these boxes are printed out, this is the line where whoever is printing the box out will cut that out for the side window there. These are just made to measure off just a real box. We just measured one, we scanned one in and we measured it and we rolled it up, and we spent quite a bit of time getting this template to be the right size, so it should be quite accurate. Up here we have the logo that I showed you before. I did lock these layers here because you can unlock them just by clicking the little padlock up here, but I found it nice to leave them locked just to prevent you from accidentally moving them around or clicking and dragging it. And then of course there's the rectangle layer at the bottom, which is our entire side of the box. So you can ignore these first 4 layers pretty much. The customizable parts that you will be wanting to play with are the text and the artwork. So what I will do is I will drag our picture of Hagoromo over, which I think I already did that. Here he is. So I'll turn that back on. I will delete the layer with Guy on it because we don't need him right now. So I'll hold Control T to change the size of him. If I hold down Shift while I drag the corner, it doesn't make him lose its aspect ratio like that. I think maybe in the newer versions of Photoshop it does that automatically. But I will drag him down to where I want him to be. I'll add the layer mask. So what I do is just make sure that your layer with the artwork is selected, hold down Control and click the layer that you want to use as the clipping mask. So I want the white rectangle here to be the edge that cuts off the rest. So I'll hold down Control and just select my white rectangle over here. Now you can see it's selected with the dotted lines. Everything outside of that is going to be essentially invisible when I put the mask on. So the mask tool is this one down here, the little rectangle with the circle on it. So if you just click that, make sure your artwork layer is selected, you click that, and now everything that's under there is invisible. So make sure you unchain them. If you click the little link there, you'll now be able to move this layer around as much as you like, and when it goes out of the edge of our rectangle, because of the mask, you won't be able to see it. So I like to make the pot vinyls just small enough that their eyes peek up over the edge of the rectangle there. It doesn't matter if his hair goes over the edge, because that will get cut off when it's printed. I like to try and keep an even gap between the edge of the panel and the artwork as there is here between the edge of the artwork and the window. Just kind of eyeball it. I'm happy with that. Then all that's left to do now is go to our main text here, click the text tool, and I just need to change this to Hagoromo, and that's the side of the box done. Last thing I like to do is to turn off the background layer. So I have a grey background on here because I think it makes it quite easy to see what I'm doing while I'm working. When you're done, turn that off though, because we do consolidate all these files at the end onto one document. So I'll turn that off and I'll hit Control S to save that. And now I will move on to the top of the box. So once again, I will drag with the move tool, I will drag our pot vinyl artwork over to the top, dump that on there. I will delete the guy art, or I might leave him on just for a moment because I can use him as a bit of a guide. So I'll make sure my artwork layer is selected. I'll select my I'll turn them off so you can see. But this one, instead of the picture going right to the edge of the white, he only goes to the edge of the grey square. So I have the grey square on this separate layer over here. We will use this as our layer mask. So if we make sure our art is selected, hold down Control and click on that grey square and go down to the layer mask. When we apply that mask, it's cutting off everything outside of that grey square. So unchain them, click on the artwork here, and now I'll hold down Control T, and once again I can adjust this to sit where I want it to. Once again, I like to make the eyes just peek up over the edge. I can probably make that a little bit bigger. I want to try and keep a similar distance between the edge of the artwork and the edge of the grey as there is. I don't want to go any closer to the Pop Vinyl logo, if that makes sense. So the edge of his hair there, I don't want that to be too close to the Pop Vinyl compared to the edge of the painting there. I'll delete the guy picture now, and see, I think that looks a little bit too big. I'm just going to shrink that down a bit. You could always use a real Pop Vinyl box as a reference. That can be quite useful a lot of the time as well, but I think I am quite happy with that. I just was using the arrow keys there as well. You can nudge it around, which is pretty useful too. So I'm happy with that. I will turn off my background layer. Now we've got that nice transparent background. I will save that, move on to the side. Where is Hagoromo? Here he is. We'll drag him over to the side, holding it down and let go to drop him on there. This is where it starts to get a little bit trickier. So I'll explain it as I go. Hopefully I don't go too fast, but please comment or message me any questions if I've gone too quickly or if I glazed over something that didn't make sense. So I'll try and keep him centered on there. What I'll do is I will add a stroke. So this is what's on my text document. So for the side, this is the side document. I like to add a... Oh, someone is ringing me. I'll just pause this video. Alright, I'm back. So we add a stroke to the edge of the picture there, a white stroke at 10 pixels. So I like to leave that guide as a reference to keep consistency across all of the different custom boxes that I do. So I'll just double click the layer with the art on it to open the layer styles, and I'll select the stroke one and I'll change the color to white and I'll change the size to 10 pixels. I do also want an outer glow on this. You can kind of see on the edge of the guy in the background that he does have that shadow around the edge. I think it just helps him stand out on any background. But when you apply more of these, if I click outer glow, you can see nothing is happening because the glow is applied to the edge of the Hagoromo, not the edge of the stroke. So what I do to resolve that is I will just apply the stroke for now, then I right click that same layer and I rasterize it. So now it doesn't have the layer. The layer style is part of the artwork now. And now I can double click it again, come back in, and now I can add the outer glow. So the outer glow, I make it black. 75% opacity is good. I like to make the size 13. Whoops, I think I hit the wrong button there. 13, that's better. And that's that. I can delete this one with Guy Sensei on it now. I'll just zoom out of there a bit. Press Control T to resize him. I like to try and keep an even spacing between the edge of the art and the Pop Vinyl logo as there is between the edge of the art and the text. So I'll just change the text first because this one does not have any subtext on there. So I'm going to hide this layer that has the subtext on it. The main text here will say, I'll just hit T for text, and I will change this to Hagoromo. Now I can move this layer down a little bit since there's no subtext there. So you just gotta kind of eyeball it. I would like to keep an even spacing that there is between the SE and the grey area. I would like to keep that spacing the same up here. I'm just eyeballing it. Then I will try and get him to be the same again. The same spacing here as up there. That's just my personal preference. I don't know how the Funko official boxes lay it out. Something I do like to also do is I'll hold down my layer with the art, the layer with the SE, the layer with the text, and the layer with the logo. I'll select them all, and with the move tool selected, I will just align them to the center. If I click that tool up there, it just keeps everything straight in a line down the center. And also, if you want to change the main text, the color or anything like that, you can. If you have the text tool selected, you can change the color from white to anything you like. Sometimes if you have quite a light background, a black text will look better, in which case you could change that to black. If you change it to black, I would also recommend changing the color of the stroke or the outer glow. You can play with the settings as much as you like. That's the beauty of it, is that it's fully customizable. But yeah, just have a play around. I'll cancel out of that and I'll just keep it white. So this one I will need a picture on the back for the side. So I'll just use the Naruto background that I made, which is in the backgrounds folder here. So I'll just open the Naruto folder. I'll click Control A to select the whole image, and then with the move tool selected, I will just drag that over to our side. Zoom out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. So what I want to do is I want to move this right down underneath the pop vinyl, underneath all of our text, underneath the pop logo, just above the grey layer. So the grey is where we want the background to be. We don't want the background to be outside of this grey area. So that's the beauty of the layer mask, is if I make sure the background layer is selected, hold down Control and select our grey square here. Now you can see it's selected. I can apply the layer mask down here, and now just like that we've applied the background. So unlink them with the little chain there and click on your layer. Now that they're unlinked, I should show you what happens. If you don't unlink them, they will move together like that, which can be handy in some cases but not in this one. So I'll make sure that it's unlinked. Now I can adjust the background. I like to make it as small as I can within the bounds of the grey box. And just like that, it's done. Although now that I sit back and look at it, I think I do actually want the pop vinyl artwork to be a little bit higher. I think about halfway between the pop logo and the text will be alright. Might bump the text up a little bit as well. Just approximately even spacing between them all, I think, will look the nicest. You may even want to turn off the outer glow effect on some of these if you think that they're not necessary. I just turned it off on the pop vinyl, turn it off on the text as well. It's totally up to you. It's your personal preference which one you like better. When you're happy with it though, turn off the background layer to give that nice transparent background and hit save. I will move on to the front now. The front is probably the hardest side, so bear with me while I try and explain this. I will drag our Hagoromo picture once again over to this document. I'll zoom in a little bit so I can see what I'm doing a bit easier. So I'll drag him over to the edge. So I like these ones to have, preferably I like to have just a little bit of the eye on the side cut off by the edge of the box there, but you don't want the image to come too far over the window because it will cover up. You don't want to cover up the beautiful custom pop vinyl that's on the inside there. So I'll hide that layer for a second. You can see on here that guy goes right to the edge of the white box, right to the edge. So I have down here, this is the side with the most layers. I'll try and talk through them. So we have down here the entire front of the box with the white panel there. Then we have the grey, which is just the area where you see the background image. These are again made to match the official box as closely as possible. This is based off a box that's been scanned into the computer and measured. Moving on, we've got the pop vinyl logo up the top there. You can sub that out for any of the other ones if you want, or change the text to say whatever you need. We have the SE up here. This is quite commonly different on the front, I believe. You can once again just go into that file and change it the same way I explained earlier. We have the window here where that will be cut out. Now this whole lot of text here, we've got I just copied what was on the official box, the text, so it's got the different languages there. You can change this text to say whatever you like. It's still a text layer, so you can adjust that text to say whatever you need. There's the little warning down the bottom there. There's the age one there. You can ignore all these if you like. When I'm customizing these boxes, I'm only really changing the text here, the image and the background, and if it's a different anime, I change the logo up the top there as well. So for this one, I'll be changing the main text. It doesn't need to be Might Guy anymore. We will say Hagoromo. And then I'll change the subtext. I'll just hide that layer. I'll click the little eye there to hide that layer. We do not need that one on there. And I'll just click the move tool and bump the Hagoromo text over. If I hold down Control, I've got my main text layer selected, and I'll also click on the vinyl figure text layer. So with them both selected, I can click the center tool and it will just center the text above the other text. Next, I will put the artwork on. So now that he's here, I will go make sure this layer is selected. I'll scroll right to the bottom and select, hold down Control and click the white square for the front, because that's where we want the mask to cut the edges off. And then just click the mask, and there he goes, he's cropped. So unlink them and click on the artwork. Control T to adjust it. I'll just drag him a little bit bigger. I want him to go down to the bottom of the frame there, but I also want him to go up approximately about as high up as Guy went, and go out about as far as Guy went as well. I need to put my phone on silent. There we go. No more distractions. I just will shrink that a little bit smaller because I want to see his eye poking out of the edge there. That's probably fine. So what I will do now is I actually apply the layer mask. So right click over here and apply it. So now this is just, you can't, when you move him around now, he's cut. He is cut off now, which is what we want, because what we're going to do is we're going to double click it and we're going to add a stroke to the edge, a white stroke. This one I like it to be 30 pixels, a bit thicker, because this is where this outline here is where it's going to get cut out when it's printed. So I'll save that. Notice the stroke went right past the edge again, so we're going to apply another layer mask. So what we'll do is we will right click this and rasterize the layer style, and once again add a layer mask. So I'm clicking front, adding a layer mask. Now that's gone, and I'll apply that. There's probably an easier way to do that. I'm sorry if that's really confusing. It makes complete sense to me because I've been doing it for so long. But if you have an easier way of doing it, by all means, please do that and let me know. So now I also want I'll just hide Guy from underneath there. What I want now is an outline around the edge so that when he is printed out, it's clear where you need to cut. Right now, whoever's cutting it out is just going to have to guess where the outline is. So what I like to do is add an outline for them. So what I will do here is I will duplicate this layer. Now I've got two of him, and I will double click this and I'll add a stroke to the edge. The stroke around the window here is 3 pixels, so I'll make it 3 pixels to match that, and I will change the color to, for some reason I just love the color 7D 7D 7D. It's not too dark, it's not too light, and now the person can see where they need to cut their lines out. But I don't want the outline to go all the way around here, so all I need to do to fix that is rasterize the layer style, hold down Control, and instead of clicking the front side of the box, I'm going to click the window panel on there. If I hold down Control Shift I, it will inverse my selection. So now everything except the window is selected. So if I just click delete, it's just deleted the layer that has the stroke on it. So now this outline is only around the window. And last but not least, I will add that background. Do I still have that over here? Yes, I do. So I will just drag that over to the front, drop that on there, and I'll drag it all the way to the bottom where the grey layer is. So drag it to just above the grey layer. While I make sure that layer is selected, I will hold down Control, select the grey layer to apply another layer mask, which is just there, and now I will unlink them, click that layer, and if I press Control T, I can adjust this background to sit right where I want it to. So I'll make it as small as possible while keeping it within the bounds of the grey area. So just like that. That's the front of the box. I am happy with that. Actually, I'm not happy with that. That stroke is a bit too thick. So going back, I would not make that one 30 pixels. I would probably make that maybe I'd try 20 pixels, maybe 15 even. Just play with it until it's the size that you like. Or if you can't be bothered, you could maybe bump that text over to the left, to the right a little bit. Totally up to you. That's what I would do if it were me. I'm just doing this for the tutorial, so I'm not going to go to the trouble to change that. Since it's not for a client. I turn the background off, save that. The bottom of the box, so this is where I've given the opportunity to give credits to the artist. So often you'll have one artist who has made the logo, the artwork for the box and another artist who has made the custom pop vinyl. If you're one and the same person, you can just turn off one of these layers. You don't have to have both. I would turn off the graphics layer. You can adjust this text to say whatever you like, but if you open this folder, these two are pretty much the same, but if you open this folder, you have this space here for your logo, if you have a logo you'd like to put on there. If not, just leave the layer hidden and adjust these to sit wherever you like. You can put your name in here. You can change the text to say whatever you like. There is also your username here. You can change to say whatever you like. I just like to link back to normally your social media, so wherever people can go to find more of your work is where I would put that. Yeah, so you can adjust that to say your credentials in there, your username, your artist's username, whatever you like. So I'll leave that as it is because I don't have anything to show you on there, but I would be putting my name in there, and then Tesseract Digital in there. I'd put my logo up there, and then whoever made the custom pop vinyl, their details would go up there. You could even duplicate this, right click, duplicate that group, and move around, shuffle things around a bit, but you could even have a third artist if you've got a big collaboration happening or lots of fingers in the pot. You could do it that way, but for now I will just turn the background off and save it like that. A lot of the time you only have to do this once. If you've made it the way you like it, you can just reuse that same file for all of your future boxes, provided it's the same artist working on it. The back is the very last side to do. We will drag Hagoromo over one last time. This one I have some guides. I have some guides on this one. I'll just hide those for now because I imagine they may not appear on your file. Control T to drag him down a bit smaller. I would use the edges of my Guy Sensei picture as a guide for roughly how big I want this to be, but once again I do like it when the edge of the eye is just cut off. I didn't really have space to do that on this one, but you can just wing it for your particular artwork. It'll vary depending on what pop vinyl you have on there. So I will use you can see once again this one goes to the edge of the grey box, not the edge of the white box, so I will use the grey as my layer mask again. Make sure that the pop vinyl artwork is selected, hold down Control and select grey, and then click layer mask, and now he's masked off. I will delete the layer with Guy on it, we don't need that anymore, and I'll unlink these so I can still move him around a little. I don't like that his hair is just touching the edge like that. It's a tangent there, so I'll just move him in a little bit to avoid that. Or perhaps I should move him out to see a little bit of his eye. I think I'm going to move it in. I don't know if you actually can see his eye on the official boxes. So this one on my reference, you can see here the back pop art, stroke white 10 pixels, and then again with the glow we have the black one. So you just double click the layer, add a stroke, change it to white, and the size will be 10. Now I'll apply that layer mask and rasterize the layer. Now I can add the outer glow without it going out of the edge of our picture over there. So that's 75, the size is 13. So we just need to right click, rasterize that, and once again put on the layer mask. So hold down Control, click the grey one where you want the bounds to be, and then click layer mask. That's that. We'll drag the background over once again. Where did that go? There. Drop that in there. Drag it right down to above the grey layer and apply another layer mask. Select the grey, click the layer mask, unlink them and click on the layer. Control T to move it around, and I will make it fit just as closely as possible. I'm happy with that. I can use the arrows to nudge it down a little. I think I like it up a bit higher though. What you can also do in here, on the back I have the text files here for, you can add your username down here and the year you made it. You can add, if you make quite a few different customs, you can add your username here. Please don't forget to change this text. You can change it to say whatever you like, but I hope you don't print the box out like that. Just use the text tool and you can change all of this text to say anything you like. Just change that to your username if you like, or change the whole thing, totally up to you, or just delete the layer altogether and leave it blank. I notice a lot of times people don't want this Naruto logo on the back there, so you can just hide that layer if you don't want that. Again, the beauty of customizing is that this can be anything you like. I know it's quite common for this background art to be a manga panel, for example. You can turn off the layer with the logo if you want. You can turn off the layer. You can have the back completely empty if you want, with just your artwork on the back. You can do whatever you like. That is the back of the box. I'll leave that like that. I'll turn my background off so we once again have the transparent background, and I'll save it. So to consolidate them all, the first thing I do is I will open a new document and I make it in A4 because these are printed off on A4 paper. So what you also, I forgot to actually do this earlier, what I do is I save all of these as a PNG. So I'll go back into my box file, I'll create a new one in here just to stay organized, and I'll call it PNGs. Open that and I'll just save that as a PNG. I will just do that quickly for all of the files. So those are all saved as PNGs now. I can close the Photoshop documents. They are done. I can even close the background in Hagoromo. I don't need them anymore. So now I just have open a A4 brand new document. I will open all of my PNGs, which is here. There should be 6 files. They're all in there with transparent backgrounds. Open them all up. With the Move tool selected, I will click and drag each one of them over into here. So these are window side, the top, the side, the front, the bottom, and the back. So this will print out perfectly across 2 A4 pages. So what I do is I find the back and the front, which is in this case layer 6 and layer 4 by the looks of it, and I'll press Ctrl G to group them together when they're both selected. Now if I just click the little eyeball there, it'll get rid of both of those, and the remaining 4 layers here, I'll hold down Shift to select all of those and press Ctrl G again to group them all into their own layer as well. So I'll turn that off. We'll just do one at a time. So I'll do the front and the back first. So what I will do is I will double click layer 6 here. I'll add a stroke to the edge because once again this will help people cut out this once it's printed off. Cut this out once it's printed. So I'll change the size to 3 pixels, just like the window in the outline over here is 3 pixels, and the color is 7D, whoopsies, 7D. Okay, that's that. And then I will right click over here and I will copy the layer style, right click on layer 4 here, which is the front of our box, and paste the layer style. So you can see up here I have this like grey up here. This is because the Naruto logo here has this glow, this white glow around the edge, and that has gone past the boundaries. So what I'll do is I'll just do the same trick we did before with the artwork, is I'll hold down Control, I'll select the layer, so now the layer has that dotted edge around it. I'll press Control Shift I to inverse the selection, and I'll just press delete, and I'll press it again, and I'll press it again, and now all that blur is gone. I'll press Control D to deselect that. I want these both to print on one page nicely, so I just selected them both, and I'm just holding down Shift as I rotate it to get it to a perfect 90 degrees sideways. And with the move tool selected, one layer at a time, I'll just move them to sit nicely on the page there. If I click group 1, I can move all of them at once. With the whole page selected, I've just clicked Control A to select the whole A4 page. This will center them in the page with that tool up there. So that is one side ready to go. If this is printed off on sticker paper, I believe you can just cut them out and stick them to your pot vinyl box. So what I do is I will go save as, and I like to save this as a PDF because that ensures that you're getting all the good quality, and if you print it as a PDF, I believe that is a good way to get it to print exactly the right size. So I like to print this as, I'll just say box A, so I'll save that as a PDF. And now I can turn this layer, I like to turn these off as well. Turn off Photoshop editing capabilities. If you send this to someone, they won't be able to accidentally move things around and whatnot. So I'll just save that. Now we'll move on to the second page with the rest of the sides of the box. Turn off group 1 with the eyeball there and turn on group 2. We can paste that layer style to each of these. You could just paste it to the whole group, actually. Would be much easier, but here I am. So what I do is I will find the top and the bottom, there, press Control T to move them, and again holding Shift I'll just rotate them to a perfect 90 degrees. And one at a time, if I just move them like this, one layer at a time, these will fit nicely on one A4 page just like that. When someone's cutting these out, I haven't done this myself, but I imagine that they sit here with a ruler and they just want to rule straight down across that page. So to make that job easier for them, I like to make sure that these are all straight and relative to each other. So what I will do is, let me just straighten this up a little bit because I like to keep it relatively even. So I'll select that side there and that bottom there, and click the tool up there to ensure that they're straight, which they are. Then I will do the same for the other two, make sure they are straight, which they are. And now I can make sure that the bottom two are also straight. These two here, I want them straight, so I'll click that one and that one, straighten those up. And now I want these two to be straight as well, so I'll click the other two and straighten those up. So they're pretty good. These are all straight now. If someone was to hold a ruler down here and glide along there with a craft knife or a guillotine, that should be a smooth cut down here and across there. So I'll click my group 2, Control A to select the entire A4 page and center those there like that. And that's the second page done. So I'll save that. I like to save it as box B, also as a PDF. Saved. And there you have it. So now you have two pages here. You've got box B and box A on one page each. So when you print these out, you should be able to just cut that out and stick them to another box that you don't need. Message me if you have any questions. I don't know if it made sense. I don't know if it went too fast, but I am here to help. Let me know. And if you downloaded my files off the website, thank you for your support. That is all. Peace out.